Hi, I know it's been 2 months since my last video, and I am so sorry about that. My name is Lorelei. You've landed on the Handmade by Lorelei podcast. This is a kind of a knitting update. I'll talk a little bit about knitting, some upcoming possible projects, and some books I've read recently, and just a couple acquisitions, and I'll talk to you about the fiber festival I went to recently. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, it's been 2 months since I've been here. I've only knit on 2 things. One thing I forgot to bring down. Shit. I'm back. All right, so the last episode, I think I had showed you a half-finished object of my Sonder socks, and those are finished. I haven't even worn them yet because, of course, it became summer real quick here in upstate New York, so it is too warm to wear wool socks at the moment. You remember these guys with Sonder Yarn Company. These were really fun to knit. I loved the yarn so much. I got a couple of those sock sets that they had big update for. And I do not remember the colorway of this, but I believe it was a number. And you can look at last episode for more information on these if you want to know. I'm also on Ravelry as Lorelei Erdo, so you can check my notes out there. Although socks, I don't really keep very extensive notes, but these are the finished socks. I did a little fancy detail on the toes. They're very fun. They kind of remind me of pencils because of the color, but they're very fun, and I'm looking forward to wearing those when it gets a little cooler out. Although today is only in the 50s, so I could really wear them now. This finished object number 1. Then, after I cast those off, I was working diligently on my shawl, and then I had to take a break from it, so I ended up knitting some Shorty socks, but I'll show you the shawl first. So this I just finished this week. This is the Craghill Shawl by Cheryl Toy, and I knit this with Hudson & West weld fingering weight yarn in charcoal, gold leaf, I think. And I don't know what that vanilla color is called. It's probably just cream or white or ivory. I think ivory. Ivory, charcoal, and gold leaf. So what happened was I was like cranking it out up until here. And then when I got into this, I was like, oh my God, it just took forever. I lost stamina completely, put the whole thing away, and did some socks, and then just picked it up about a week ago and finished it off, and it took a long time. By the end, I was at 508 stitches on a row, so it took some time to finish, and I really loved knitting with this yarn. However, when I'm wearing it, I can feel the slightest prickle on my neck, which is not going to go over very well. But as a layering piece, it might be okay, or wearing it, I don't know that I will wear it up around my neck, but maybe I will wear it more like so. Kind of looks nice with my outfit today, I think. I'll just leave it on like this. So yeah, super happy that that is off the needles, like so happy. I knit it on a size 4 needle. I used Chowgu fixed circular needles for this. And the bind off I did in US 5. The bind off is really cool because it's really just a rolled stockinette edge. But it really looks kind of very nice and finished. I don't know that you'll be able to see it from where you are across the way there. But yeah. I don't have anything else to say. This looks so fantastic, but for some reason it was a slog to get through. I don't know why. It's really just slip stitches. It's not anything difficult. Maybe it would have kept my interest if it was a little bit more difficult. And then just this little 24 row section of garter about killed me. So I don't know what it is about garter, but I hate knitting it so much. So anyway, that's my Craghill Shawl by Cheryl toy. The socks that I knit in the midst of all that are just some shorties. And I had gotten this yarn from the yarn cupboard in a small little town near Syracuse called Jamestown? I don't remember. But this is Destination yarn. And the colorway is something called Palais Garnier. I don't know. I'll put it on the screen. It's spelled odd. I don't know if it's French or what it is, but that's what those look like. And I didn't use a pattern. These are just 15 rows of stockinette for the cuff, straight into a heel flap and gusset. I did your regular old heel turn and gusset, and then I knit the foot, and I just did a barn toe. That's my favorite toe to knit. These are so great to have just to slip on. I usually just wear them around the house. I don't really ever wear them with shoes. Occasionally I'll put them on with my like Birkenstock clogs, but yeah. So I'm going to cast on another pair of shorty socks. Probably later today. I picked out this skein from Stash. This is 6 and 7 fiber, and the color is called Skating. And I wanted something different, you know, something a little bit subtle. It's kind of got a gray base with some pink and peach and purple and blue variegation to it. And this sock yarn is just so wonderful. It's a lot like this, so it's a little bit thicker, and it really knits up at a great gauge with a US 1 needle. That's what I knit all my socks with. So these are coming down the pike as well. So that's my finished objects, and now we currently don't really have anything that I'm currently working on whip wise. I mean, I do have whips, but I'm not working on any of them at the moment. I'm going to cast on those socks. And then I have like thoughts of possibly doing one of these projects, and I will try to put in pictures on the screen so that you can see what I'm talking about. I'll just get into I went to a fiber festival this month. I met up with my friend Sydney at the CNY Fiber Festival in Bouckville, which is at the Butternut Fairground. No, the Butternut Campgrounds. And I had gone, probably the last time I went was 2019. I went with Joe, and it was a good size, but fairly small. And I feel like this time it was much bigger. We had a blast checking it out. I'll put in some footage of some sheep that I saw there that were adorable. Anyway, while we were there, we went to a booth, and of course I forgot to write it down, the name of the booth, because Sydney bought yarn there to do actually this vest, but I didn't buy any yarn for the vest because I haven't really decided, but I do think I want to knit this vest. Anyway, the sample was gorgeous, and it was knit with their yarn, and it's knit with a DK weight. It's called Beneath Waves Vest by Johanna Kunin. It's gorgeous, just a vest, you know, it's got a crew neck, it's got garter panels along the sides, and then kind of a feather and fan lace patterning on the front. I don't know if it's on the back too. It might be. Anyway, it's really cute. I was going to look and see if I have anything in stash. I don't know if I do. The other ones I was looking at is Olivia by Julie Weisenberger. This is kind of a cool, like, drop shoulder vest slash top. I feel like it would be really good in the summer. It's a sport weight. Like I said before, I don't know if I have yarn for it. I may not. So this is all, you know what this means. It just means I'm going to have to buy some yarn. And then the third one I wrote down was Low Key by Elizabeth Smith Knits. And this one is knit with a worsted weight yarn. And knit at a pretty big gauge. So I don't know. I might have enough to do it. It might be kind of like one of those yarn chicken things, you know. She does offer a couple of different sizes for that particular vest. It's you can do it cropped, or you could do like a tunic length, which is kind of cool. You can do it with a funnel neck or not. So those are just a couple of things I'm thinking about. I don't really want to knit a shawl next, just because I don't have any use for that right now. So I'd like to knit something I can actually wear. That's my goal. While we were at the show, I did not buy too much. I bought a little framed photograph from a vendor, and I also bought one skein of yarn. I know. I just don't need any yarn. I'm at the point now. I was thinking about this the other night when someone was talking. Oh, I was watching podcast. Chevy Rell was talking about Rhinebeck and going to shows, and how she went to the Maryland Sheep and Wool, and she didn't buy a single skein of yarn. I'm like, I know what you're saying, because we just don't need any yarn. But this actually jumped out at me from Shirsty Cat Designs by Kelly Straub, and this is just sock. So it's a 75-25 merino nylon, and the colorway is called Squirrel Nest. And I love that color, you know, green and purple, and I couldn't say no to it. So soft. So you would think that I would want to cast these on, but I think I'm going to do my shorty socks first, and then I'll cast on this pair. So yeah, but we saw a lot of great things that day at the show. It was fun. We went out to lunch, and it was nice to catch up with a friend, you know. The only other thing I have to share acquisition-wise is I bought this adorable canvas project bag. This is not, I don't think this is intended for being a project bag. I think they called it a lunch tote. I don't know, but I just could not resist these cats. It's got this adorable little removable pocket on the front, and you could take that off if you wanted, or I was thinking it would just be so cute for just a couple of little notions in there. And it's, you know, it doesn't stand up on its own. It's just kind of, but with a big project in it, I think it will be great. And look at the little cat on the back. I mean, could you die? It's so cute. And this was from Nico Neko Stationery, believe it or not. Nico Neko is a stationery store in New York City. And I saw them post some of these bags, and they might still be available. They have a couple different styles. So check it out if you're looking for a project bag. This was $28. I mean, right? So, and I love the style of it with the, you can kind of wear it on your arm or whatever. So yeah, cute. I finished some books recently. So I don't know what I was reading at the time of my last podcast. I have no idea. But since that podcast, I have started and finished How to Stop Time by Matt Haig. Matt Haig also wrote The Midnight Library. I loved this book just as much as I loved The Midnight Library. It was amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I will keep this book forever and reread it because it was so good. It's historical fiction. The main character, Tom Hazard, has he's kind of he's a history teacher, but he's not like an ordinary person. He's 41 years old. However, he's lived history firsthand. So he's actually been alive for centuries. So they talked about him performing with Shakespeare and exploring the high seas with Captain Cook and sharing cocktails with Fitzgerald. And now he just wants to have a normal life. The problem with that is he's not allowed to fall in love. So that's where I'm going to leave that. You can read that if you want. But it's kind of historical fiction. There's a little bit of romance. And I flew through it. It was amazing. Highly recommend. Highly, highly, highly recommend this. And then I just finished this week Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens, because I saw the preview for the movie and the movie looks amazing, and I wanted to be able to read the book before I see the movie. So this, I didn't realize that I had ordered the large print version, but this book was long. I mean, hella long, 484 pages. For some reason, it took me about 2 weeks to read it, which is abnormally long for me. I don't know why. I think it's her writing style is very lyrical, and for some reason I was it was just taking me longer to read through it. But I loved the story. It was wonderful. I feel like the ending dragged a little bit, but I got through it, and I really loved how it ended because it was much different than what I thought it was gonna end. Or how it was gonna end. So anyway, I recommend it, and I have quite a few books on my to-be-read list, but next I think I'm going to start the Starless Sea, which I showed you in a previous podcast. I think that's the one I'm gonna start next. Unless I start it and I'm like, I don't know. Then I might not read that one, but so anyway, if you like to read, I would give this one a go because it was really, really good and a little bit unrealistic in parts to me. I mean, I'm not going to give anything away, but the protagonist is a young girl, Kaya, who grows up in the swamps of North Carolina, and she's extremely poor and becomes deserted by basically her entire family. And she's like 7 years old and living in this house by herself. Not one mention of having any kind of house repair or, she lived there. It spans over a decade. So I'm just wondering, like, how can a little girl live in a house and not have to deal with, like, although they didn't have running water, so they didn't have to worry about plumbing issues. But it just seems like something would have cropped up, some sort of issue, whether it be pests or who knows. But anyway, that didn't happen. I just thought that was a little bit far-fetched, but that's just me. I'm watching my cat bird. I have a little cat bird that hangs out in my neighborhood, and she's just the most beautiful little bird. She's actually a big bird. She's all gray, and she just loves hanging around my yard. She's always got some sort of bug or something in her mouth, and she hops around the yard, and she's sitting on the furniture out on the patio there, and she's just so cute. I just love her. Anyway, that's all I have to talk about today. I'm sorry it took so long for me to get back here for another episode. Hopefully it won't take me that long to come back again. I just want to have stuff to talk about, and I feel like I just didn't have enough to discuss. And this is already a very short podcast anyway, so thank you so much for watching. If you liked my video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so then you won't miss my next one, whenever that will be. And before I get to another episode about knitting, I will most likely be posting some more videos on stationery, pens, fountain pen ink, things like that. So you can look out for that if you want to check those out. Thanks. See ya. Bye.